back to Linda's Pantry, and today I'm canning up some more meat. I've done an inventory of what I have, and I thought, you know, I bought this corned beef on sale, and I'm afraid that it's gonna sit, and one of these is too big, and then this is the nice flat cut. But for just me, one is too much, and I eat corned beef for a week. Plus, I really feel it's too salty. So, I'm gonna show you how I normally can up my corned beef. This is not an approved recipe. I've been doing this for years, and I'm gonna continue to do it. So I'm gonna parboil this corned beef for about an hour, and I've got 2 of them. And I'm doing this in quart jars. So I'm hoping to get 3 quarts. And then that way, when I wanna have a corned beef and cabbage, or corned beef and cabbage casserole, or a corned beef hash for a large amount of people, larger than 1 or 2, then I'll have a jar to be able to open for that. I also am gonna can up because my canner won't be full, and I like a full canner. I am down to the last jar of beef, and the beef is so wonderful canned up. I am gonna par cook this. I'm actually gonna put this out on the Weber to par cook it, and I always par cook my meats. I think you get a far superior appearance and a far superior taste and texture. For whatever reason, the taste is definitely different. So I've got a chuck roast here. I'm gonna have to cut off the bone, and I have a chuck tender roast as well. So I'm hoping that that will fill the void in the canner. If it does not, then guess what? We're gonna can up some more black beans because I have some, or I might do pinto beans. We'll see what ends up. If there's an extra jar, I'm gonna fill it with some beans because it's the same timing. They'll can for 90 minutes in the pressure canner. All right, guys, come on in and let me show you how it's done. I'll bring you back when I'm cutting the meat up and I'm getting ready to put it in the jars. My jars are in the dishwasher right now. I've got my lids and rings ready, and my canner has water in it, 3 inches of water with a glug of vinegar to keep the jars nice and crystal clear. So I'm gonna get to making some prep work for canning. All right, come on. I'm gonna start with the corned beef. So I've got my bowl of corned beef right here, all cubed up. I par cooked that for an hour. Those roasts were whole, and I par cooked them for an hour, and then I cut when it cooled enough that I could handle it, I cut it into chunks. So we're gonna get hopefully 3 quarts of these, and go ahead and pack it down a little bit because you want it all thick, right? And then I don't mind going in a smallmouth because they tuck up under that neck pretty good. And I'm just running now clean hot water over the top of this corned beef. And this keeps it from being so salty that you can't tolerate it. I do not care for raw packed corned beef because how salty it is, and it isn't my favorite. So I've got an inch of headspace, but I'm gonna pull a couple of pieces here. You definitely want an inch of headspace because we're pressure canning. You debubble and wipe the rim of your jar, and we're gonna go ahead with our magnet and try to fish out a small lid. We got our lid and our ring, and hopefully the lighting is better this direction. This is gonna go into my canner that is resting at about 180 degrees, and we'll get this canned up. It'll wait for the rest of the jars, and these are hot, so I'm gonna use my grabbers. All right, I'll be back. These jars came out of a hot dishwasher. All right, so now we're on to the beef, and that made exactly 3 quarts perfectly with the corned beef, and those were 2 3-pound, little over 3 pounds a piece. So you can just about guess that it's going to be 2 pounds of meat per quart. I didn't really look at the weight on this roast, this chuck roast, and the chuck brown eye of chuck, I guess it's called. Oh, you know what I want though? I'm gonna pull a little bit out. I wanna go ahead and add, I parboiled some mushrooms. So I cooked them. I wanna add a heaping 1/4 cup of mushrooms to this. And you can add it in the middle, at the top, however you want. I'm gonna put it at the top. And then we're gonna add this beautiful wine. Okay, back here, right here. I've got this wine broth that, it's beef broth, better than bouillon, with Cabernet Sauvignon, and some garlic and herb seasoning, and it is delicious. I'm going to, if I have any left, I'm going to keep that in the refrigerator to have a cup of broth, because it's liquid gold. It's so good. And you're going to want to debubble, just like you do with the corned beef. Make sure everything is up underneath, and you've got an inch of headspace, which we need a little bit more liquid here. Perfect. Okay. Take your cloth, whatever you're going to wipe it with, and I am going to use a Tatler lid because I have them, and these are the Easy Seal. One of my subscribers sent these to me. I have dozens upon dozens of Tatler lids. So the Tatler lids are a 2-piece system. So you've got a gasket here, a reusable gasket, and before I do this, I'm going to show you how I mark them. I take a Sharpie and put one little line right on the gasket. I've got a line there, right there. So now, once I get to 10 of those lines, I know that it's time to toss that gasket and get a new one. And I have tons of those as well, so, okay. In the canner it goes. Now these are Easy Seal. You do not have to back these off. I'm pretty proficient with the Tatler lids at this point, so I'm not worried. Okay, let's get this in the canner. Look how pretty. And this will be great for beef stroganoff, beef stew, beef and noodles, beef tips and noodles. Oh, so good. All right, I'll be back when we're doctoring up the canner. So I did want to show you this. The last 2 jars, there wasn't enough meat. There was too much for a quart, but not enough for 2 full jars. So I opted to have more of the broth, and this will lend for if I do a stew or a beef and barley soup. I can have more of a soup. But I did add a 1/4 cup of Thrive onions in here. So I will make sure that I mark those jars that I have the onions on top. Oh, those onions smell good. And that'll literally be such a great addition. I could have added it to all the jars actually, but I didn't have to stop and chop an onion either. And so it is okay to use your Thrive onions or vegetables in your canning. You just have to go according to canning guidelines. All right, this is meat, so it's gonna go for 90 minutes once it comes up to pressure, and it is vented for 10 minutes. So wipe the rim. I'm only using 2 Tatler lids, the rest are button tops. And put my button top down, and there we go. In the canner it goes, and I'll bring you back when we're all done canning and I'm pulling them out of the canner. Okay, so I am done with the canning session. I've been working around the house. While the canner goes, I just stay in the vicinity so I know that I can keep an eye on it. It's been down off of pressure for a while. I loosened up the thumb screws, kind of get my lid where it can vent some steam out of there. It's probably been sitting here a good 20, maybe 30 minutes. And now I'm gonna take these out of the canner, and see what we have. So this is beef. Oh, beef and mushrooms, yum. And this has got a Tatler lid. And I do have some siphoning. I'm gonna put this over here. I do have a little bit of siphoning on that one. Not sure why. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And this one, there's no siphoning to speak of. So there you go. I regulate my temperature as slowly as I possibly can, so I try to prevent that, but sometimes you can't help it. Ooh, this one looks good. It's still boiling even after all this time. And if I had something to bring it over so it wouldn't drip on the floor. So let me see. I'll put I don't want to stain my towel. Let's show you. Okay, I will show you this beef. Here we go. There you go. Can you see that? Still boiling in the jar, but beef and mushrooms, absolutely delicious. And one more beef. This one's full too, so I really only have one that I feel like has siphoned a lot, but look at that. That's still really going to town in there. So that's why I don't rush getting them out of the canner. I just don't see a need to do that. Now, all of the corned beef looks really good. Absolutely wonderful corned beef. Look how pretty that looks. Raw packing, all the impurities that are in the meat that cause, the meat when you're boiling or braising meat and you get that little scum stuff that you have to scoop off, that sticks to the inside of your jar. When you do it the way I do it, you don't have that on your jar at all. You just have this beautiful product that anybody would be willing to open up, if they like corned beef, that is. Open up and make a meal out of it. So there you go, and there you have it. I am excited to have corned beef and mushrooms, and two of them have onions in them as well. So guys, I hope this inspires you to try your hand at home canning. I love how the sun's coming in here. Try your hand at home canning and get this stuff put on the shelf. You will have it for a later date. These are multiple meals for me and whoever I might have over, and to share a meal with me. And it'll be delicious. All right, don't forget, stock your pantries. Try to, every week, put something extra on the shelf, so when things happen and you can't get to the grocery store, like now most people are sheltering in, it's okay. You have everything you need already. I've been doing this for years, so I'm pretty well set. Although I did get myself where I didn't have quite as much on the shelf as I used to have, but now I do. So, all right guys, I hope it inspires you. If you have any questions or you have a canning video that you want to see, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you next time for another delicious recipe, most likely using one of these. Bye!